Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Are trying to put seals on an arch door, and we're trying to figure out what we can use to pull the head off. I've got an old piece of Pemco 312 CR, if you're familiar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Okay, and we were able to bend it pretty well to get the seal that we're looking for. So that extrusion seems to be a good one that we could potentially use to do what we're trying to do for the top of the arch part. But we need it to be a thicker seal. So I think that seal on that one is only 1/4 inch. So I'm trying to figure out if we have something we can do to get a bigger seal in there. Either we can use the same extrusion and get a different insert with the same profile that's a little bit thicker of a seal, or something similar that you might know of.
When you say 1/4 inch, you mean the projection of the seal?
No. Well, so I think it's both. This one is a 1/4 inch projection and 1/4 inch deep, but we need it to be thicker, which it would be the same. I'm sure if it bumped up in thickness, it would also bump up in projection, which is fine because we can just set it back a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, a dive into the Pemco catalog is certainly going to reveal, material, inserts that have a larger face to them. It would be pretty unlikely that there's going to be any thicker seal that will fit into the 312 extrusion.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there might be other options. The thing is that there's like the 296 or whatever other seals that we use where they don't, I don't know why, but they don't bend like this 312 does. I guess it's just thicker metal. Right. And so that's the thing, as we start changing the extrusion, and then it might not conform to the arch properly. So I think that's why my head is like, okay, the perfect solution would be, similar insert, or using the same extrusion but with a different insert. So there's no other. So you're pretty sure that there's no other insert that would fit this extrusion that would be bigger?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Looking in their catalog, the shape of the whatever the part number is, R96BL or whatever it is for that 312, there's actually nothing else in the catalog that even looks like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I would be real. There is one that looks similar. It's but it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. It's just in a different aluminum holder. I would really think that you should have really good success bending something a little bit flatter, like their 306, Pemco's 306 AQ. I would think you should be able to force that thing. If you build yourself a mold, and then got C-clamps, I would think you should really be able to, a big sheet of plywood, a router, and a string, and you run that router across the radius. I think you could really get sophisticated. I would think something like that would bend.
Say that again. What is this? With a router and a string? You seem to have a plan all in place.
Yeah. So if I was going to do this, I would get a piece of plywood, and then I would create a mold, and so that I could then get my aluminum holder and bend it to the mold, and then clamp it in place, rather than trying to push it up there and allowing screws to hold it. And after you've kind of hillbilly bent it, if you'll permit the use of the term, And what you could do with that sheet of plywood is once you know what your radius is or your arch, depending on how sophisticated you have to get, you create, you know where your focus is, and then you get your router and a piece of string and a nail, and that's how you can easily cut that mold. You get it
I see what you're saying. Just to cut the mold, yeah, and then bend it around the mold.
Yeah, and then use some C clamps or another the B part of your die set, so to speak, make it a little bit smaller, and clamp that all together. And plus also what works to your advantage in this case is that Pemco's extrusions on some of their material, and much of it is thinner than average, so that 306 that might bend your will pretty well.
Well, so I'm looking at it here. I see that, but the insert though is not a sound rated one. This foam Q-Lon type seal. Is there another? Because I need it to be the sponge neoprene.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's going to be the advantage of the 306 is that is easily replaceable 10 years down the road if it fatigues. But getting a sound rated, it's if you've had success bending that style, which I would have guessed it would not have bent very easily.
Same here, and then we just tried it, and it did.
Yeah, I would that U shape. Let's look. Thicker. Well. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at other holders like that, and all of them have the same thickness of insert. Whether it be vinyl or restricting it to acoustically rated or acoustically tested is, there's not, there is a vinyl that does that, and then there's, the silicone, but nothing's bigger. Nothing's larger.
Shoot. Well, that poses a bit of a problem.
Why do you need one that has a thicker face to it?
Just because the gap between the frame and the door is, such that we need to fill it with that seal.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I can suggest is trying other, and you probably have already experimented, it sounds like, just trying other ones that see if you can bend them. Reese has some stuff that's bigger, that's acoustically rated. Let's look at a Pemco part number. I'm looking at the Reese book. Let's see if I would think the 375 CR might be something you can bend. That's not, that's seven. Well, it's going to be it's not going to be that much bigger. That thicker face material. It's that part number 375 CR. Thank you, Terry.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. I think it's okay. It's a lock. Yeah, thank you. The problem is it's not that much thicker is the issue. It's, it's thicker, just not substantially. So maybe 90.
Well, 7/16, you mean?
Yeah, but that includes the holder.
Right. But that's almost double. I mean, yeah. So even if if we get to 3/8 with the seal, I might have one of those here, so I could maybe measure what that seal is. I bet you it's. I bet you it's 3/8, which would do the trick.
They've got one that's nice. They're 285 CPK, and I expect that aluminum is relatively thin. I just can't see it bending very well.
285 CPK.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I could probably do the 285 CR, right? Because that's Pemcoprene. That's not going to be the right insert.
Yes, but the CR, the R doesn't have an acoustic rating on it. The PK does.
Really? Even though it's got the sponge neoprene?
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. We know the material that we need, so that's okay.
Yeah.
So 285. Okay, so that's basically the same. That's basically the same as the 296, but a little bit bigger. Yeah, and the 296 doesn't really bend well. I wonder if you heated it up.
Oh, I don't know about that. You'd probably have to raise that to a pretty big temperature, and then at that point, all of the material would probably fatigue.
Yeah.
You know what you could do? You could get really exotic. What if you took, 1 by wood, literally 1 by oak or whatever it is, and then ran that over a router table to give you the T-slot or whatever you needed to slide that gizmo in there. You get a slotting cutter, and then you did it old school. I mean, like 15th century old school, and you got that stuff super humid, and you clamped it and bent it and clamped it and bent it around your mold. This would have to be a client who made a lot of money in Bitcoin. You could. He is
a heart surgeon.
Yeah, I mean, you could. It's a preposterous idea, but
no, I mean that's how you. Yeah, I mean that's how you build. I mean, if you're going to do a kerf-in seal with an arch,
that's how they made the header, basically. That's how they made the header of that frame.
Exactly. I mean, this. Yeah, I don't think they realize how complicated it is to have an arch door. They're just like, oh yeah, just put the seal in, and it's like, well, it's not.
Everything's complicated with arch top hinges, door closers.
Yeah. Everything. Okay. So let me dive into this a little bit more, and I'll try to figure out. I thought maybe if you had something easy like that you just knew of off the top of your head, but I'll try to use some of these solutions. I've got, I think, a couple of the ones you mentioned already here. Let me ask you while I've got you on the phone. Then I've got 2 other questions. One, do you know what the name of the inserts are? I feel like this is stuff you know pretty well off the top of your head. You nailed that other one. For the Astrogol, so basically the peel and stick piece of neoprene that would go onto like a wood Astrogol to create a seal.
Yeah, so Pemco, you're going to see that material on the back of an Astrogol. Generally, and I don't think Pemco has anything wood, although draft seal might. But you're going to see the really common material used, the S88s of the world, is what you're going to see attached to the back of that.
Oh, the S88 isn't that? Hold on, isn't that like a teardrop? Yeah.
Yep.
So not that. We want the kind that, like, there's the Pemco Astrogol, that it's like the replacement insert for the Astragal. So that's the kind of Astra. It's kind of like the one that you just mentioned. What was it? The 375. It's perimeter seal, but you could use it as an Astragal.
Yeah. Pemco is definitely going to have.
It's like the R4, but something with adhesive on one side that exists.
Well,
I thought we got that from you before.
So is this a piece? So are you thinking that you might want to install a 375 insert onto the back of a piece of wood to create an Astragal?
Right. So the door already has the wood Astragal, but we need to put something on the face of it to seal it to the other door. So we don't need the extrusion, just the insert, and preferably one that has a PSA on it that we don't have to manufacture our own adhesive. Yeah.
It would every time I see that stuff, it is just out of the S88 section of the catalog where they have, and plus also the thickness is going to be a concern because you still want that, you're not going to pull that Astragal off. But at that point, the S80,
right.
The S44 could work really well because it's going to crush down real small. The S77, probably you'll see the PK55 used because that compression bulb is used there as well.
Well, so I'm familiar. Yeah, I'm familiar with all of these. We will sometimes use these as adhesive alternatives to the cartridge seals. Like the 296s, or like the triple fin, the 773, or whatever it is. But for this application specifically, I think we need to have a flat piece of neoprene that's going to just like that. The one that I just mentioned on the 375. And I'm fairly certain because we've done this before. It's not often, but we've done it before, and I'm pretty sure we got it from you. Maybe it wasn't peel and stick. Maybe we put our own like double-sided red tape on the back or something. But you don't have just that insert.
Not with a PSA, and then at that point you could look at how thick can you tolerate this material to be.
Well, that's the thing, is that I'd probably buy a handful of thicknesses if possible so that we could, because it may be that we've got a 1/2 inch gap at the top and the bottom, but then where it latches in the middle, it comes a little closer, and maybe, 1/4 inch or 3/8. So we might have to build it up at some spots.
Yeah. Yeah, I would certainly consider either a sponge silicone or just, probably just a sponge silicone. And then at that point, it would be either us asking Pemco if they could put a PSA on that material, or you buy the insert, say, and if you don't already know it, the Pemco catalog is where I get all my insert part numbers from, because that's just where I get that stuff from. So, if you were looking at like the 319 CS and its SR1 insert, we can ask them if they'll put a PSA on it. And if they will, then great. And if they won't, well, double-sided tape. 3M.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there not just a catalog? I don't know, that might not be the right word. I'm looking at this one that you just sent, the 319, or that you just mentioned, 319 CS. The insert looks like it's got a funky shape to it to kind of curve around the extrusion, as opposed to.
Yeah, that would come to you rectangular. It wouldn't, or if you looked at the 3151 CR. That one could be practically ideal, although it may not be thin enough. Or maybe too thin.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that stuff's going to come, it'll come rectangular. It's not curved or mortised.
Okay. Yeah, like something like this. So this one, some of them, let's see, does it say the insert on here? ER2BL.
Yep, that's it. That's right.
Okay. So I could maybe just search the catalog for inserts that I might want and then just get a handful of them. And then, yeah, it sounds like the PSA is not really an option, so we'll have to use our own double-sided tape. Okay, so now we're just stuck with the curvature situation to deal with at the top. And then so I'll look into those two things. And the other question I had was about the adjustable seals. So I know we used to use the 303, the National Guard 303. And I think that's the thickest one that I've found. That's 13/16. And it's sort of a weird application, but we're actually going to be putting it across the bottom of a threshold. And the threshold lip is a ½ inch. So we need to come up an additional ½ inch above that with our seal to get a good sound seal there. So 13/16 is the closest that I've seen to that 1 inch. Do you know of any other adjustable seals that are going to be thicker than that 303 NA?
So this is a National Guard part number?
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull up their book. .303.
Oh, that's right. I did find this other one, this Zero International 170 AA, and it's 0.91 inches.
Yeah, Zero is going to rewrite the book on finding your deeper level of patience when it comes to lead time. They have been epic of late. So thicker than 3. Yeah, I see the 303. Thicker than that. Well, and you want to get to what size? 1 inch?
Yeah.
And you want to use it as a perimeter gasketing? Okay. No, a door bottom, you said, right?
Yeah, as a bottom.
So you want
it shouldn't matter. I mean,
you want to install this as if it was a door sweep?
No, it's actually going to be like a bumper threshold. It's like we're adding it onto the threshold to make a bumper threshold.
Got it. I understand. Yeah, Zero is going to be the company that rules the roost on that stuff when it comes to that big perimeter gasketing. Let's look here. Are you in San Diego proper?
Yeah.
You get over to New News ever?
Wow, there's a throwback. Yeah, I used to live around the corner from there. I would go there all the time.
No shit. In a weekend, I think I was in 6 of the top 10 dive bars. And what a classy. I was expecting Telly Savalas to be sitting there in the corner sucking on a lollipop. What a throwback to the 70s. Nice. Cool situation. The Polynesian dude, bartender, super nice. Very good.
Yeah. When was this? Wow.
Oh, at least a decade ago. At least.
Yeah. I was probably, that's about when I was going all the time, 2008, 7, 8, 9. You said top 10 in San Diego or just in the whole country?
Oh, San Diego. Yeah, we were in a bunch of places.
Oh, you must have gone to, oh yeah, the Lamplighter.
We were at the Whiskey Bar. I don't know what it was called, but right underneath the approach for the airport. My God, this place has got whiskey, 15 feet in the air up on the shelves.
Starlight?
Right. I mean, you can't. It's right at the airport. I mean, yeah, we were chasing some beer as well that they were tapping. Like there was one keg in all of Southern California.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I've cycled through Zero and even Legacy, and nothing really beats that, approaching 1 inch. So why does the face have to be so tall? Just for surface area?
Yeah, because we've got a half-inch lip of the threshold, and then maybe a eighth of an inch gap between the top of the threshold and the bottom of the door, and then we need to come up onto the door as well. So we really need to get. I mean, it doesn't maybe have to be exactly an inch, but that's why that 0.9, the 0.1 that I found, like that's going to be needed, to get above where the gap is between the bottom of the door and the top of the threshold currently. And what I'm thinking about doing, if we can't find anything else, is I could just shim up. I could just put a strip of something below any of these, even the 303, and that'll pop us up. So that's the backup plan.
Yeah. So yeah, pushing 1 inch is going to be is what I'm also seeing. You could also consider a L-shaped door bottom. And I'm thinking of the idea of, let me find it. Okay. I'm thinking.
I think I know what you're talking about. And it's got, yeah, go ahead.
Something like the 211 APK. And if you were to install that 211 APK, rotate it in your mind's eye counterclockwise 90 degree. I mean, that's going to be a huge step over, though. I mean, your threshold is going to be really tall at that point.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Rotate it so that it's pressing up against. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's already going to be a strange application to begin with, but yeah, I don't know how tall this thing is. What is that, 1.25 inches? Yeah, so maybe, but again, it's going to have to be something with a sponge neoprene insert.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that, it seems like if you're saying that the 0 is pretty much not an option because it's going to take forever at 0.91.
Yeah. Their lead times are just unapologetically epic, and they, I buy at your own risk because they can't tell us when it's going to ship, don't know when it's going to ship. You tell them to cancel, and then the next day they told you it's already shipped. So it's or already, they're arriving tomorrow. All true stories. And they've got the best product out there. It's just, it does no good if people can't get their hands on it. So it makes me want to go into the weather stripping business.
Well, isn't that what Legacy did?
Yeah, and I'm in their catalog. The problem with them is they have the same sort of, I don't know. It's just, I think all of these people need to understand, no one's asking you to be competitive. What we're asking you for is a tracking number. So build your business model around that. and then let's go from there.
Yeah, seriously. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I think I've got some homework to do. I think I know where to start looking, and I got to figure out how to even quote this for the client, because I mean we're talking about a whole host of unknowns. So thanks for the help as always, and I did have one actually last thing. I've got that $900 credit from that one issue with the adhesive order. We wanted to place an order. I don't even know how to go about using that, because if I go place an order on the website, obviously it's just going to have me use my card. So what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so version whatever of the website is going to incorporate credits on account. For right now, enter it as the method of payment that you'll select is actually, let's do this. Bear with me. Okay, so the method of payment that you're going to select is literally going to be, you can do it now, purchase order. That will not prompt you for a credit card. That will be tossed on to open account. And when I see the order come through, I'll tell Nico to tie that together. But technically, you don't need a credit card to process orders, to get them through the site.
Oh, okay.
You can select purchase order.
Okay,
and
I'll do that.
There you go. Yeah. So, the other thing I'm thinking about this is you could use your bump up threshold, and they do make threshold stop strips, and that's the term, threshold stop strips. The issue is you'd have to stack a couple of them on top of each other, which you could certainly do. And actually, to take all that a step further, you should not find it difficult to find 1-inch bar stock aluminum and a router table and a router bit. Now, I'm not saying you're going to do this for one job, but mortising aluminum is not a big deal. So you could get some 1-inch or whatever 1.25-inch bar and then buy the insert, or buy a series, buy 2 or 3 of them so that you can mortise them with a T-slot cutter in line against each other. Anyway, just exotic solutions. But if you have some of these basic tools, those will fall right in line. It's not hard to do that. But again, it's time, money.
Yeah. Just have to have the client that wants to spend the money on a custom solution. So that's the tricky part. But we'll see. He wants it to get done, but he also doesn't. As everyone doesn't want to spend a lot of money. So I'm trying to do. But then I'm spending 4 hours doing research, and that's all time that I'm not billing for. So it's I got to decide if it's worth it to do this so that I have the knowledge for the future. So it's an investment, And what did you call those threshold strips?
Oh, stop strips. Stop.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Okay. Threshold stop strips.
And they are literally meant to do what you want to do, to raise that. I didn't suggest them because I know none of them are that tall. So if you were to, like a 180, a 184 AT isn't a great option because it's tapered. Although if you were to run that on a table saw and take that beveled edge off, stack 2 of those on top of each other. Well, in this case, it'd have to be 3.
Well, where is it tapered?
Well, if you look at a 184 AT, it's got a bevel on the back edge, so that would look funky if you stack those.
Oh, I see. I thought because my threshold is sloping a bit, so I thought maybe that it would be nice if it actually was beveled a little bit on the bottom edge.
Well, you could do that. You just have to run it on a table saw. That would, although if I was going to do that, I'd be starting with a piece of block aluminum first. I wouldn't try to modify that. It'd be awfully hard to do that.
Yeah, block. Yeah, so if we just do block aluminum, yeah, cut. I mean, yeah. So exactly. That's my original plan, which would just be stack something underneath it and then use the 303 and go down through it and get longer screws or whatever. So that's probably what's going to have to happen. Oh boy, this is turning into an ordeal. Okay, well, thanks again. I'm going to talk to my colleague about some other solutions and see if there's any other way we can do this, because I mean, we're talking about a couple $1,000 just in labor and design and trial and error, just to seal one door.
Yeah.
So.
I agreed. It's just the work you're doing and what I hear from other people. Shutting out the noise is not something that we can put a price on, because my God, we need our silence. Well,
that's basically what our whole business is based on, and we do pretty well. It's just a matter of the clients who don't want to pay for what it costs to achieve what they're looking for, and that's always a tough combination.
Right.
But okay, well, I'll get back to you. I've got this other order I'll place, and you'll see that comes through. Just a bunch of 296s probably, and some door bottoms for stock.
All right, sir. I'll watch for it.
Okay, thanks, Rich. Appreciate it as always.
You bet, sir. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.